Right down here, I'll show you how things get to the island. This is the 413. Yeah, 413. And when it comes down to the end here, it just stops. Just turn around on the end. These crab pots. Sea Mark Marine. Gordon Confectionery. All the watermen go down early in the morning. We got chamber combs each in a block. So when you get down to the end here, this is what it is. It turns right here. On this side, we're going to show what it's like to take your stuff to the island.
I thought you got Woody.
Hey. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
All right, how y'all doing?
Good, fine.
Nice day. Here's all the ferry boats going to the island. People come aboard. Put all their stuff here. Put their stuff aboard. There's the metal. There's all the packages. That's how people get over to the island. Hey, how you doing? What do you think? There's a crabbing boat here. This is how stuff gets over to the island. I'm gonna tell Terry I got some stuff on there. Right now I'm down to a place called Sackertown. This is my 6th great grandfather. Let's read that. I'll leave it there alone now. He never did quite recover, and it said on here. I have to look, see which one Thomas is, see if he's my direct ancestor. I'm not sure. This is a little grave. From what I understand, Sacker's back there a little further. This must be one here too. So walk around here, everything's a grave. That's the same. There's a Nelson. There's a John Nelson. Peggy Nelson. Look at this. WMT Nelson. Died in 1870. See, here's more stones back in here. From what I understand, Sacker's back in here somewhere. Oh boy, the gnats are coming out. That is caved in. He had a plantation that went from clear way from here, way on down. This here, you take this stretch and it goes way, way down, and then it turns and it goes down toward Fox Island. All these little hammocks at one time were farms and all. All these little, every time you see one of these hammocks, it was somebody lived there. Let's take a look around here a second. I think that was dumped there. I don't think that's not natural. If it was, I'd be finding something. No, that's not natural. Somebody brought this here. I do want to look over on this one. This one here could have a possibility of an old bottle. Let's walk around here and see. Seems nice to get off the island. You got a few minutes to walk around. Get my boat fixed and I can come over here a little more. Oh, this ain't natural either. It would have been nice, so it would like they'll come here and find an old bottle. Nope, not natural. It's deep though, but you can catch a fish in there. Good tide strong. Nope, this is road debris. Nothing good here. I'm here to Makepeace, one of the oldest houses here on the Eastern Shore. One of the rooms of this is in the Smithsonian Institute. My 6th or 7th great-grandfather built this place with his wife, John and Mary Roche. Mary was the great-granddaughter of Thomas Savage. And this is Makepeace. I heard at one time there were arrowheads stuck in the front doors of this place. I think it dates from the late 1600s. It's owned by people now, so I just wanted to show it to you. And now we can drive down the rest of the road. Okay. Hey, how y'all doing? I'm here at St. Peter's Church, and this is the church where Joshua Thomas was first converted and where he preached his first sermon. I'm going to walk around the graveyard here to give you a description of this first chapter. The first chapter is a description of the Tangier sign, more or less. So let's walk around this graveyard and I'll tell you what it says in here. I'm here to summarize the book. It's a little hard to read, but I can summarize it. We'll talk. There's some Bradshaw graves, and the first part of this book is about Captain John Smith discovering the bay. He was over in Jamestown, and the first he went over to the Eastern Shore. He went over near Cape Charles, Savage Neck, where Thomas Savage, one of my ancestors, lived. He was the interpreter for Powhatan. John Smith sent him to live with Powhatan, and Powhatan sent Pocahontas to live with the white people. And so here's an Aaron Bradshaw right here. So we'll walk around this graveyard. The first thing it talked about John Smith coming over to the eastern shore where Thomas Savage lived. And Thomas Savage is my 8th or 9th great-grandfather. He was the first eastern shoreman to live permanently on the eastern shore. He was, like I said, he was the interpreter for Powhatan and John Smith at Jamestown Settlement. He was 9 years old when he came to America, no parents. He was custody of the captain. I forgot the captain's name, but he was in custody of the captain. He was the cabin boy. So he was sent to Powhatan village to learn the language, and Pocahontas was sent with them to learn English. So we're just going to walk around this graveyard a little bit. And let's see, what is the other part? Okay, John Summit. Okay, Northampton. Okay, now the first two people to come up the eastern shore further than comes up further than Thomas Savage was a man named Ezra. Ezra, and the other guy's name was, I gotta find it because it's a crazy name. And in his book, he describes the islands of the bay. He's talking about the Tangier Sign. So we'll start up by Hooper's Island, and a long stretch of land up there had close to 1,000 people at one time. And then he comes down the bay and he starts talking about Bloodsworth. There was only 2 or 3 families on Bloodsworth. Then you come over to Holland's Island, and that's the people we're seeing right there a minute ago, I believe, some of them. And you come over to Holland's Island, they're the first people to have to leave because of rising sea levels. They might be called the first climate refugees. And then, let's see, he was at Highlands Island, then he comes down towards Spring Island. Used to be a small little island there now. It used to be a hotel on that place. I couldn't believe it was a hotel on that place. This is Captain Dan's brother, son, Rodney. His name is Rodney too. They called him Binky. He's a nice feller, Binky. He's funny. He gets a lot of laughs out of old Bink. And let's see, come down to Highlands Island. Then he talks about the battle of the barges in Cage's Straits. That happened in 1782. And the Americans lost. They were defeated. They were run off. And that's where the cannonball, the chain shot I got came from there. So then he talks about Smith Island. He talks about Smith Island and the people who live there. See, there's John Holland. I nearly know they're related to the people on Holland Island. And then he talks about the battle in the Cage's Straits. That barge pieces I find, she was in that battle. And then they brought her down home and used her as a ferry boat from across it would be Signers, from Signers over to Orchard Ridge, it's called. That's where the pirate daughter, Marmaduke Mister's daughter is buried. Said his treasure's buried there. Now I'm starting to wonder if his treasure was his daughter. So, and he talks about Smith Island. Smith Island was Evans, Tyler, Bradshaw, and Messick, Mister, and Smith. And then he talks about Tangier. He talks about how Tangier had about 300 people at the time, only a few houses. When he lived there, it was hardly any homes there. They were the old type homes that were raised up on logs, and they had stone chimneys. The chimney was made out of stone. I find them in a couple places, and you see this pile of stones. You're wondering how it got there, but later on, I find out it was from stone chimneys. And then after he went to Tangier, he talks about Tangier. Said the houses were all in little clusters here and there. They all had little gardens, and that's how they got by in life. Most of the people lived off the water, dredging. Now this is all about around late 1700s, early 1800s when he talks about all this. So that's really the gist of the first. That's really the gist of the first part of the chapter. It's just a description of the bay. So when I go getting into it, I'm gonna go to 2 or 3 places Joshua lived, and I'm gonna write this out a little bit better. There's a couple over here I gotta look at. See, that's Mary M. I think she's in my tree. There's a Thomas. There's what Dana calls his bride. Old Dana, he's a nice fella. War hero. A couple graves over here. It said the church was 300 or 100 yards south, so it had to be in that field there somewhere. Had to be over here in that field. Here's some more of the oldest people in Chrisfield, the Roches. Now, I don't know how these are related to the actual Roches that I'm related to, but more Miles Roche, Nancy Roche, son of, wife of, Zachariah. I'll have to look that up. Wife of Zachariah. William Roche. I bet you he's related to him. Ruby Roche. I've never seen this before. It looks like a metal lid on these tombstones. Nelson's. Yeah, it's a metal. There's a wasp in there. I've never seen that before on a grave. Metal vault lids. Here is it. Hinman's. Annie Nelson. 1865. George Thomas. I wonder if he's related. George Thomas Nelson. Billy Jane. Little Willie. Liza, son of E.W.E. and Lizzie Roche. 1891, only one. Little Willie only got to be one. So I'm assuming that this hump right here on the edge of this corner, assuming that's where the old church was. This church here, I'm not sure when this one was built, but it was Joshua Thomas preached in it in the early 1800s. So the next chapter I do, I'm going to do the chapter of his when he was born. That gets to the interesting part. This is just a description of the bay. I was looking over here. I wish I'd brought my boots because I seen some things along here. There it is. See that? Right there's a piece of pottery. I don't know how old it is. There's certainly a piece right there. Bottles and there's a piece of glass. Yeah, it definitely looks like you could find something in here. I would spend a few hours walking through this field. Yeah, look, there's another old bottle, the bottom of a bottle right there. I bring my boots down there sometime. Look around. That'd be something. I see a big arrowhead sticking out there and I'd have to jump over there and get it. Yeah, see that? That's that dark blue glass. One of them old mason jars. Yeah, you could definitely find something there, I think. Okie doke. I'll let you know when I'm going to get ready and do the other part of it. I'm going to summarize it a little bit better. I'm going to take and put it on paper, the key points I want to talk about. Okie doke. Take it easy. Thank you. Bye. GoPro stop recording. I want to show you something down back here. When I was a teenager and first started coming down here, all this side here was nothing but trees. This is what's called a ghost forest. Every one of these trees has died. They've all died right clear back to here, because this was all trees. This was all pine trees. Now it's all ghost forest. It's all gone. Here's what happens. Here's what happens to the trees. See all these trees? They're all dead. That's some tide inclusion. See the yellowing in all these trees and all? A few more years, every one of these trees here will be dead too. This whole area here is nothing but ghost forest now. Look, you see them breaking over and falling down. Whole area is what's called a ghost forest. There's whole places of hammocks up the sign that I used to go to. Can't even tell it was ever a tree there. Can't tell it was ever a tree. I got the woodpecker. You can't tell not to look it up so far, but yeah, all of these trees. Give it another 10 years, there won't be a tree here. It'll all be marsh. GoPro stop recording.